Why is South Africa the only place that just said, you know what, there are no plans to get land back. Just take your freedom. It's fine. Stay in the slums. Stay in the rural areas. Stay in the informal settlements. Why is South Africa the only place?
Right at the southern tip of Africa lies Azania, otherwise commonly known as South Africa, a country that is rich in culture and diversity, a country bursting with growth and urban youth culture, also a country ridden in poverty and inequality even after 23 years of democracy.
We've allowed the system to fester. We've allowed the system to go on for so long. We don't have the land, but we still haven't tackled the system that is further oppressing us.
I don't like the fact that I have a second job under the pressure that I'm having at school.
Wow. So you can't tell me, Gusi, white people brought education, they didn't bring education. Nelson Mandela sold black people out. Like, we can't run away from this.
It's not a business. No capital for that business. Nobody's funding for that business. It shuts down. What do you do?
It's white men right there at the top, then it's white woman, then it's a black man, and then it's the black woman.
I feel like the reason why we're being shot, the reason why the cops are here, is because they're instructed by the government to harm us.
Like, they were so clever in the way they did things because, I mean, we have a black government, but black people are still suffering. Majority of the people in South Africa are black, but the majority of the poor people are black.
I don't want me having to finish my course or me having to do 3 different courses and still struggle to either find a job or work for the right thing. It's not fair.
South Africa is at a place where we are feeling the effects of apartheid, and not just apartheid the state, not just the apartheid regime, the apartheid teachings. Black people are at the bottom of the list, and they always have to fight for everything, and they always have to fight alone.
We have to ask a lot of things. We have to work for a lot of things on our own, and sometimes we don't even tell our parents if we get because we don't want to work.
Media makes you look at Zimbabwe as if they are doing a wrong thing by taking their land.
So black people need freedom. So him selling us out was actually a way of.
But I feel like 2016 has just been like, whoa, wait a minute. We're actually powerful. We're actually better than this. And I feel like as long as we stand together.
Johannesburg, the center of large-scale gold and diamond trade, the largest city in South Africa, situated in the wealthiest province in the country. I'm here to explore the student life and overall state of the new South Africa.
I mean, you're literally working for a white person now, which is something that you didn't do before. You know, your ancestors didn't do that. You're literally working for a white person. You're literally doing, I mean, your wife is a helper in a white person's house. You are working in the mine for a white person. So I feel like, in a sense, that's the mentality that was spread amongst black people, that, you know, you'll forever be under us, you'll forever be working for us.
Welcome to the commune, a student accommodation housing mostly University of Johannesburg students. Most of them come from outside of the province and are here for the sole purpose of furthering their studies.
Now let my people out. I made my mama proud. Now let my brothers out. Hiding the yard. Now let the sun go down. That's when the devil comes out. Now let my father out. Buddy down with a cat. So let the sun go down. Let the sun go down. So let the sun go down.
Next up, I hooked up with Frank, one of the housemates from the commune, a Bachelor of Commerce postgrad student. We went on to campus with him just to get a glimpse of his life as a student that is living and studying in Johannesburg.
I think it was grade 10. My mother wanted to choose a course for me. Guess what she said? She said,
teaching.
You are going to be a teacher. And I got angry. I was like, how can you decide for me what I want to be? I mean, I know myself and I have my own dreams, I have my own interests as well. So why are you choosing a career path for me? I wanna have my own. I wanna have a say in what goes on in my life because this is gonna affect me. And then she got to accept that my interests lie in accounting. But then later on, I discovered that she was right. She was actually right when she said teaching for me. Because this is where my love is. I just want to teach. She was right, actually. So, she was right. I would also want to teach. I like to teach. I like to tutor. And my mission as Frank is to do whatever it takes to get me to realize my vision, to get me to realize my dream. That's my mission. And Frank, my background is not a good background in terms of what can I say? In terms of being able to sustain your life, being able to have this and that in life. That's my background. But Frank doesn't allow the environment to change him. He doesn't allow the environment. He's not controlled by the environment. The environment does not affect him negatively. The environment
to define him.
Yes, the environment is negative, but I can still manage to become positive inside a negative environment. That's who I am. I remember I used to tell my mother, what did I tell her? Just recently, when I went home, I was like to her, this thing that I'm doing, all these things that I'm doing, all these things that I'm fighting academically, or employment opportunities, or trying to start a business, or trying to do that, I'm not doing it for myself. I'm doing it for us. That's what I told her. We were sitting down, we talked on that level. I was like, I'm doing it for us. I'm straining myself, I'm pulling my legs, I'm doing this, I'm stretching, all because I'm doing it for us. And you are part of the family. You are an important part of the family. You see? So I'm doing it for us. That's what I told her. I'm doing it for us. And that woman, like me, she has a lot of stories. I think if she were to write a book, it would be the bestseller because she has been through a lot. At the same time, she has achieved a lot. You see, and guess she. Man, I love her.
I want you to make your mother proud. I want you to make sure that your mother never works for somebody else again, you know.
Olha meu pai, olha meu pai, olha meu pai, olha meu pai.
Nione ni tate, nione ni tate, nione ni tate, nione ni tate.
Olha meu pai, olha meu pai, olha meu pai, olha meu pai.
Nione ni tate, nione ni tate, nione ni tate.
Mas pra Deus já mudei. Cala a boca, eu já falei. Tell everybody I'm on my way. Já lutei. A luta já continua. Eu me lembro quando você me deixaste na rua sem nada pra comer. O que vou fazer? Me bateste sem fazer.
But your mother tried her best with the little that she had, but she made sure that she made you somebody.
Nothing is helping. Mainly everything is on my mother. and she just keeps swimming in debt. And it really hurts, hence why I got a job. So yeah, and she was just like, I ended up having that feeling of not wanting to go to university anymore. And I told her, and she was like, no, my child, I'll try and at least meet those, you know, try and make ends meet just so that you can finish your course. And I'm just thinking, this is the first year, we already struggle with the first couple of months. It's a 3-year study that I'm doing. What's gonna happen?
Yeah, I just feel like the system is not for black people. It has never ever been for black people, and I feel like the reason why fees must fall is so important is because that is the first step into destroying the system and, you know, getting what is due to us. Yeah.
The large group of students are protesting for free decolonized education, which was promised by the ANC government back in 1994 when they came into power.
My shoulders just drove us like rovers. This chorus, the modest. I'm a conscious state. My future past, bring back my future memories. Allow me to kiss and make love to my head. I battles these rattles. I mango with it.
Awesome. Just living on the hands to use no motion.
This idea of a movement apparently came from an incident that happened where several students were denied the right to write exams because of outstanding school funds. Such an uprising of a strike symbolizes the frustration of the inequality in South Africa. The movement initially started in 2015 with students fighting against the increasing of varsity fees, but has now turned into a fight for free decolonized education. Just a week after the protest, Braamfontein's second annual Street Fest event was held. Youth from all over Joburg came in their numbers, filling the streets of Braam until the early hours of the morning.
Black is so beautiful, guys. The black culture, I mean, we've just got so many things going on within the black community, and it's just like, you will never ever find this thing
anywhere in the world.
It's just us, you know? It's just that thing, Sinayo, that thing.
That thing.
Yeah.
My guy.
Sure.
Yeah. Yes.
I've been hustling for days. We've been hustling for days. 'Cause 6 in the morning I rode up a J. And I don't forget to pray. 'Cause nigga been living my life. No chain on my neck. I don't care about what you say, nigga. Hustle money every day, nigga. 'Cause nigga been living my life. No chain on my neck. I don't care about what you say, nigga. Hustle money every day, nigga. One time for my mother, 2 times for my lady. I've been hustling for days, and that's to get me paid. 3 times for my family, never gave up on me. Glory be to God, He is my soul, I'm not forsaken. I'm letting it burn. You niggas don't.
I'm drowning myself in alcohol.
It's not your turn. Them other singers I'm killing, I'm 0 to 10. I got a girl in the backyard with a backpack and a big ass in the front. Tap that, I really wanted it, I gotta get it. I'm sorry for y'all niggas.
We connection from Innerville.
Yeah.
The lower side of the south of Johannesburg. So we just chilling and enjoying the day.
You enjoying the day. Just love it.
I've been hustling for days.
And I've been hustling all day.
We've been hustling for days.
I think Bloemfontein it's the most corrupt student environment in the country. As you can see, a lot of things are happening. Like the whole city filled with students drinking, smoking, just enjoying themselves. They've even forgotten about the student travels that they have, Christmas calls.
This nigga been living my life, no chain on my neck, I don't care about what you say, nigga. Hustle money every day, nigga. Cause nigga been living my life, no chain on my neck, I don't care about what you say, nigga. Hustle money every day, nigga.
First and the last, the truth and the lie. I came here, I still wanna conquer. They pray for my downfall. I'll be down, don't think you I'm feeling so wanted. My team platinum, I was running, complaining and going to diamond. I do give a fuck. How they would spend me to celebrate? Hella nah. I keep my dragon rolls under my knots. I don't give a piccolo. Hella not. You homies are claiming, I thought that you had my back. Probably not. Nigga, you face me, I lace the tech. You started hating like a TV channel. You started changing, man. I'm not in a rush. I'm patient. Cause I just thought that these doctors and waiting. My time is just coming. It's just
Let's
go to bed. I want to study very hard.
study what?
I want to study zoology.
Zoology.
Yes.
Alright.
I'm out in the backyard until the main trip. Man, I'm just caught up in this moment. Many were called, but only few were chosen. Lord knows it that I'll never change. And my flow golden. I'm so broken, gasping, choking. I'm overdosing on aspirin. I'm soaking in tears as the world spins. I'm posing on cameras. Well, I suppose that we made it without me trading my soul to be the greatest. The hustle to make me got me motivated, and I bet that you can relate to it. Drop it.
Hustling for days. We've been hustling for days. Cause 6 in the morning I rode up a J. And I don't forget to pray. Cause nigga been living my life, no chain on my neck, I don't care about what you say, nigga. Hustle money every day, nigga. Cause nigga been living my life, no chain on my neck, I don't care about what you say, nigga. Hustle money every day, nigga.
Okay, one of the things that was very, very triggering and angering to me was the whole Afrikaans thing. You know, being having extra classes in Afrikaans. I was against that because when I applied to UJ, I had the notion some of the people were gonna be taught in isiZulu and whatever. But then when I got to UJ, it was just English. And then I found out some of these kids were being taught in Afrikaans, and I was just like, why can't I be taught in Zulu? Because, I mean, I feel like black people have so many things going on because you have to learn in English and it's not your mother tongue. But we try so hard. So why can't Afrikaans students do that? You know? I mean, everybody should be learning in English at least. Stop saying, let's learn in English and then we will learn in Afrikaans. If we are accommodating you and you are learning in Afrikaans, let's accommodate everyone. I know so many people who literally can't even understand what the lecturer is saying because when they came to university, they came from schools that were well, it wasn't like a multiracial school.
You come from deep rural Venda, where they taught you
when they taught you in Venda. And then you come here, you have to learn in English. But I've never ever heard of a black child saying, I don't want to learn in English. Everybody's just trying, so why can't Afrikaans students do the same, you know?
At this point, all the universities around the country are shut down, except for UJ.
Good morning, Lesiko. We've been here since early this morning. The students were up very early, already setting up their protest. They started the day with a silent protest. The numbers are expected to increase throughout the day, and there is a very heavy security presence here on campus.
And now, Chelsea, we know that the lectures, and I said that lectures are needed to resume this week. Have you seen the members on campus today?
The lectures have resumed. Staff members and students are on the campus. protesting students, with their own self-set mandate to shut down UCT, did try their utmost to disturb the classes yesterday, and they will be doing the same today.
Now we know that yesterday 6 students were arrested, and today, how was that going? Do we know about yesterday's case of the 6 students who were arrested? Will they be appearing in court sometime today, maybe?
Yesterday, for most part of the day, the students protested quite peacefully. Things got a bit rowdy later in the afternoon when they were setting off fire alarms and disrupting classes. 6 of those students were drawing with chalk on the tables. They were then arrested for malicious damage of property. It is said that they spent the night at the police station here in Wynberg.
If ignorance starts with the vice-chancellor of a certain university, the government is doing nothing. If the vice-chancellor can keep on saying classes are going on as normal, then that means the government is not doing anything. These meetings are all for nothing. Them having to have press conferences, blade, those meetings are for nothing. They have no productivity on us. They're not telling us anything. Basically, they're just blabbing, telling us to go back to class. How can we go back to class knowing that I'll finish the end of this year, but I might not even see my results because of outstanding payment?
In other countries, people will just say, you know what, we need this and that. And the government literally has to go and do research on how we can give the people this. In our country, we said free education. They said how. We went and researched on how we can get free education, and now they're ignoring us. I feel like, it's actually sad,
Next up, I decided to go to Wits to check out the vibes on campus and talk to some students about what is currently happening in the country. I arrived to a hostile environment filled with police and a lot of tension and fear.
It's uncomforting. It's not something that is necessary that we have to go through every day. But it doesn't seem like it's gonna end anytime soon. And it's very traumatizing, and I don't think when we're walking around sitting here we realize how traumatizing it is. Even now I'm sitting and chilling, there's a police helicopter flying around. Like there's always something that will remind you that you must be uncomfortable. One of those things is fees. Fees remind you that you can't be comfortable.
The silence says a lot. It's just, it speaks to what the actual intentions of management are. Because last night, there was a lecture at Lindelot Auditorium on Education Campus held by the VC and management. But then when students ask to speak to management, when there's havoc on campus and students ask to speak to management so that they can come to maybe a negotiation or middle ground and things like that, management only wants to speak to, let's say, 20 people. But then when people get shot, it's not the select 20 that gets shot. So I think management's non-response is a response in itself.
At this point, I really don't know, because we do so much and then it's like nothing happens, Because despite the fact that we basically trashed Brown yesterday and it's like nothing happens. You see how clean the streets are, nothing happens. And then also in terms of the efforts that we do on campus, we're still getting emails saying that we must come back to school. So basically they don't care. They don't care what we do. We're fighting, but they're not seeing that.
Pretending like everything is still normal.
Departments are open. People who want to go to class, So I don't know at this point. But let's just keep pushing and see where we go.
I mean,
think Habib is being irresponsible by sending these statements that keep saying that things are normal and the situation is calm. And I think it's just setting up these kids for disaster, because people come here expecting that they find a situation that's normal, and each time they get here, they get rubber bulleted, they get stun grenaded, and I think they need to reconsider this strategy. Why doesn't it just come to the table and speak to the people and we end this once and for all? And the thing is, the stance with the students is very asijigi until this thing is resolved. As
where we are at the moment, this is the place, this is the environment for learning. So we've got great minds, intellectuals, and we are many of us. So possibility of us losing.
But it's okay, it's okay, it's okay.
What do you think of the lack of response from the university?
I don't think there's been a lack of response. I really feel like there's been like animosity between parties to communicate, and there has been consistent communication between leadership and management. But nobody's willing to budge. I feel like nobody knows what's the next move. The university doesn't want, obviously they don't want to give up academic year, and students don't want to lose the fight for free education. I don't think there's a lack of the university coming to the table.
Okay.
I mean, I disagree. I think that the university has been a little bit patronizing this year with regards to their response to student leaders. I think that while the communication has been constant between management and students, there hasn't been any real commitment by management to actually engage with both ends of the equation. So with the government on one hand and with students on the other. And that's really their place in this whole thing. They're meant to be the mediating party between the government and students, and that hasn't happened. I also have a serious problem with the Vice-Chancellor, who has all the time in the world to speak to the media, but hasn't once attempted to come down to protesting students and address them. He cancelled the student assembly a week ago, which was an incredible act of bad faith towards the student population, and I think that proved that they aren't thinking about the students that are protesting in all their decisions. They don't necessarily care how the students are going to react to their decisions and their statements. And for some reason they're just disregarding that population, which, if all of this is anything to go by, is a lot of students. It's a mass of students. It's not 200 or 300 people. It's
majority. It's a majority.
I mean, yesterday there were so many students protesting that the designated protest area, which was the piazza, wasn't enough to hold it. And they spilled out onto either sides of the piazza and down there, and that's when the cops attacked. So I think that's a show. I think they gave us this area thinking that it's 100 people that are protesting, and it's not. Yesterday was in the thousands. So they need to be cognizant of that. They keep reporting lies. Habib talks about 400 students shot on the university. It's not 400 students. It's definitely not 400 students. So I think his constant communication with the media and the things he says to them about him engaging with students, all of that is a lie. And that's what's fueling the animosity between the university and students. The fact that they are not being truthful in their communication to the public.
So as I'm saying, VET is full of intellectuals and people who can think. So I believe that once we get education, it will be more easy for us to educate each other, like in our community. So with that, it's going to build something in which we can structure our own education to feed our own people, so that they know the truth and lies.
Saying that we're decolonizing education would mean having a conversation with ourselves about whether or not we're prepared to let go of the colonial systems that we enjoy, and not necessarily just those that we feel are oppressing us directly. Like, if you decolonize education, that means you have to teach mathematics in a different way, you have to teach politics in a different way, you'd have to teach history in a different way, counting maybe in a different way that is not maybe capitalist-centric. So that's just a tough conversation that we need to have with ourselves. Also, if we're serious about, fees and stuff being intersectional, then maybe we'd have to acknowledge other struggles that other people face, like black women in movements like Fees Must Fall and other movements and other sections of society. So I think those are the next challenges.
I mean, I think we're right because students are now frightened of police, and there are a mass majority of students that are not political and not desensitized to violence, students who didn't participate in the strike last year and therefore are experiencing all of this for the first time and are frankly traumatized by it. And that's keeping away a lot of students from campus. It's keeping away a lot of people who would be striking if the police brutality wasn't at the level that it was. So what's happening is that because the violence is so imminent, they are opting not to go into mass crowds of people. And that's reducing the numbers, it's reducing the effectiveness of the strike, and that's why people are running down. The numbers will dwindle eventually. People are tired and traumatized and injured.
So many things are happening. In Ethiopia, they've been protesting for how long? Since November. 800 people have died since then under brutality. These things are not new. They recently got a state of emergency. Look what's happening in Haiti. Even if it's it's just very complex and layered that sometimes you can't be positive. You can't think that a great outcome is gonna happen, because when is this great outcome gonna happen for Black people? It's like you're born to struggle, and it's disheartening. That's why people kill themselves. That's why people don't mind when. Not that they don't mind, but the fear goes away when you have to come close to danger.
The Fees Must Fall movement is rapidly intensifying by the day, but the University of Johannesburg is still not part of it, even though it affects them as well. I meet up with some of the students to find out why.
They were smart by doing something. They gave us a holiday. Then a few days later, the minister said, everyone, varsities are okay.
I think they knew. They could have known the announcement.
Yeah.
And then they said recess.
Yeah.
And then so people can't organize.
They can't organize things.
Last night I was on Twitter and I saw tweets from UJ students who are actually tired of not joining the movement and stuff. They were like, we're shutting UJ down. It's not fair, and it doesn't sit well with them. We are not protesting while the whole country's basically shut down. While all the universities in the country. So yeah, today they tried shutting UJ down. They actually shut down the library though, but then the police came and yeah, everything was over.
Do you feel like UJ is threatening this? They feel threatened by the police?
I feel like at this point students don't really care. Well, they do care what the police does or do to them and whatever. But then I feel like it's just one of those situations where they say, well, it's whatever. If the police hit me, it's whatever. I feel like the problems is with the SRCs. The SRCs aren't telling us anything. And I feel like that's why UJ students don't know whether to strike or not. No, there's nobody saying let's mobilize. Nobody's saying, guys, this is what's happening. And we're getting so many mixed messages because UJ management says we are in talks with the SRC, and the SRC is saying no, we are not talking to UJ management. And I feel like that's why everybody's so confused. But I feel like students do want to go out there and protest, but they just don't know how to do it, and there is no leadership, so that's why nothing is happening.
I feel like I'm cuffed. There's nothing I can do. Just go and attend school like everything is normal, whilst other children are fighting for something that I also want. But as a student, I can't join because of what the university is actually.
it's really heartbreaking when you hear stuff like our SRCs were meeting with the Vice Chancellor on Friday, and then when you do ask them, were you meeting with the Vice Chancellor, and they're like, no. So it's just like, what's going on?
Something fishy.
Yeah.
We finna run this ship, we finna run this ship, and yeah, you know, we finna run this ship, we finna run this ship, and yeah, you know, we gonna run this ship, we gonna run this ship, and yeah, they know, we gonna run this ship, we gonna run this ship, and yeah, they know, we finna run this ship, and yeah, you know.
The leadership at UJ is terrible. I mean, even last year when Fees Must Fall actually broke out, I mean, every single university in Joburg, in Durban was like, yes, let's shut down. But then UJ took its time. UJ was just like, okay, are we doing this? Are we not? What's happening? Then only a week later did we actually shut down UJ. And I found that very confusing. I do not know why we took a whole week to actually shut down, because I mean, UJ is one of those universities which the majority of the students is poor. So it's not like Wits. Wits has privileged students. Yes, they do have disadvantaged students, but most of the people there are privileged. So I feel like UJ should be at the forefront of the movement, but it's so disappointing and sad which they're not. So I just feel like the management at UJ and other campuses, other universities, our leadership in the country as a whole, they're running around in circles. They're not giving us answers, and they should be doing that right now, because I mean, it's been 20 something years of democracy, and the ANC already promised us free education. So like, I mean, I feel like this is the time when you need to deliver now.
We finna run this ship, we finna run this ship, and yeah, you know, we gonna run this ship, we gonna run this ship, and yeah, you know, we finna run this ship, we gonna run this ship, and yeah, you know, we gonna run this ship, we finna run this ship, and yeah, you know.
I need my own shoes, and then I hear a funny noise. Let me run. Pity they can't come to our rest because they don't allow visitors anymore. Since it was a strike, you know, they decided to house. So yeah,
Police presence is heavy across universities all over the country. Although UJ is not striking, they have extra security that they have hired since the first Fees Must Fall outbreak in 2015. They refer to these men as the bouncers. I hook up with some of the students to find out more about them.
Look, Mpethu, this year, highlights of this year, our auditorium was burnt.
You don't start the riot.
Who did that? What was that about?
It was the bouncers.
How do you know?
What bouncers?
The bouncers, the guys, was the UJ, and just students were complaining about the bouncers. Then they saw with their contract. Those guys, I was talking to Simpio when Simpio was living here. Yeah. This other guy, Ruminaga MP. Sure. He told me which those guys earn 11.5 thousand literally per month.
Yeah.
What do the bouncers do?
They just stand there and
like security guards.
No, there's security guards at the gate, but then there's bouncers. There's literally
I'm like, they like security guards.
Yeah, they just
don't need a t-shirt.
They just wear earphones and stand there. 11.5.
Apparently there was a party, because you know, during this time when people are writing exams, everything just goes crazy and stuff. So apparently there was a party at the yard, and Calvin, this boy who died, was one of the party goers. So security came by and tried to tell the students to go home, basically. And basically they were arguing about why at this particular party they had to go home early, because apparently the security has never ever done that before. They have parties until late. So nobody knows except for the people who were there what happened. But the security ended up taking a gun and shooting Calvin in the head, and he died. I think he died there.
On the spot, on the scene.
On the spot, which is so scary because we are basically walking around UJ campus with this man, the man who killed Calvin, because he was hired by UJ, and as a part-time job he was working at the yard as well. So I feel like it's so scary. Like, that should have been a wake-up call. That should have touched national level of government. You know, Uguti, students have been complaining the whole year about security presence on campus, and now the very same thing that they've been fearing is happening. Like, a student died, like something that could have been avoided. Like, you don't disperse a party, or you don't stop a party with a gun. So it just makes you think, Uguti, what kind of people are they hiring to protect us? Because that's what university management says at VERT, at UCT, at UJ. They say, oh, this is for your own protection. Against what? Against who? Because students who march don't hit each other. It's the security who hits us, basically. It's so sad, because I don't think Calvin will get the justice that he deserves. I do not think whatever happens, he's not going to get the justice that he deserves. Whatever happens, I don't care if this man who killed him goes to prison for 50 years or 150 years. Like, that is something that could have been avoided. So it will always stay with us. So you did something that could have been avoided. You did something that was totally unreasonable. The university could have avoided this.
Black Rose, now they're trying to get your picture taken, give them that pose. Black Rose, they said you wasn't good enough, don't listen.
Sha'ira Kala, I think that's her name. Yeah, apparently she was shot 13 times she was shot at the back, and I'm pretty sure she's in pain, even though it's rubber bullets, you know. But apparently she got shot 13 times, and people who were there say that she had her hands in the air and her back was to the police, which means that she wasn't even a threat, or she wasn't even doing anything to the police, whatever. She got shot, and I just feel like it highlights, it goes back to Marikana or whatever, because I mean, our police are so brutal, and you see it in the townships and whatever, and when it happens in a public space like this, you ask yourself these questions. Why are the police so brave? And I mean, they have this I don't care attitude when it comes to brutality and black lives, basically, because she's a black woman, even though she's not my race. So
she's not white, so
she's not white, she's black, yes. So I think it goes back to the question, what makes policemen or the police force in South Africa so comfortable in their brutality against black people? You know, I mean, last year you saw how some white students had to form a barrier between the police and black students because they were like, well, I'm privileged, they're not going to do anything to me. And what happened? The police didn't do anything to them. So I feel like it highlights a lot. Even Dlamini getting denied bail, it highlights what is happening in South Africa and how black bodies and black people just don't matter that much.
Black rose, black woes. They see me flexing in my black clothes, black whips, black rim. I find myself drowning in these black drinks.
The prisoners right now, the student leaders and student activists who are in Fees Must Fall, a lot of them are getting sent to maximum security prisons, and you don't understand why they're doing this. Like, I'm pretty sure if it was a white child at a maximum security prison, the country would be in a standstill. The white community would be standing with that child. But look at how we are so disconnected to the movement. We lack empathy. We lack sympathy to these student leaders. Basically, Tina, it's what we are used to, Vele.
It's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal. Our parents went through this because that's how the apartheid regime wanted to break the movement. That time they sent them to maximum security prisons where they couldn't do anything. So that's what they're doing now, and it literally breaks my heart. Uguti, we are not making enough noise about this. How can you send an 18-year-old to a prison where you have rapists and murderers? Like, fighting for education has been equated to killing, basically. I'm fighting for my basic rights. I'm fighting for something that you promised me in 1994 when you said that my parents must vote for you. And now when I'm telling you that I need it, I don't need it in 5 years, I need it now. You're going to send me to a prison with notorious people, notorious drug dealers, notorious rapists, notorious murderers.
And for black students to get equal privileges. That's all we are asking. We are part of South Africa. We were born here. Why can't we have the same happiness that white people have? Why can't we have the same joy that, oh my gosh, I'm done with my course, I'll get a job next year, or I'll get a job immediately after, or when I start applying? Why can't we have that happiness?
Nobody wants like a full-on war or civil war in South Africa. We actually just want to get along. And I feel like black people have had that attitude for a long time, that okay, even though you did this and this to me, I'll still be your friend. And I feel like that's the kind of mentality that we need to let go of, because white people don't want to be friends with us.
Another thing that I noticed while doing this documentary was the mediocrity of the media. It was clear that they had different interests than to report what was really going on.
We can't really just sit back and watch as police do whatever it is they're doing to us, because we're just students. We do not possess the armor that they have, do not have the weaponry that they have, but they continue terrorizing us. So we have no other option but to retaliate, which is what media seems to be neglecting putting into their report.
And I feel like this is why last year when Fees Must Fall, the protest erupted, students gave the media their place. They were like, okay, come to campuses, please report on what's going on, police brutality, private security presence on campus, which is abusing us, which is doing this and that to us. We gave them that chance, and the media literally messed it up, because I remember so perfectly, I couldn't even go to campus. My parents were that worried. They were like, you need to come back to Durban, because I study in Joburg. They were like, you need to come back to Durban. It's not safe. This and that is happening. But when you look at the media was reporting it as if the students were the cause of the violence in a way. I feel like in every single protest, you will have that little spark of violence, but the media was just, it was poor. It was poor. It was a lack of, I don't know, if I didn't know better, I would think, who would see South African journalists, you just wake up one day and be like, I want to be a journalist, you know. You don't go to school for this thing, because the way that they were reporting, it was just hideous. Last year there was, I can't even remember one media outlet reporting Oguti police presence on campuses was almost similar to Marikana. I remember a woman, because last year Fees Must Fall protests were combined with ending outsourcing at universities. So our helpers, our cleaners on campuses, and maintenance staff, basically, they were also protesting. I remember this woman, like, she's even older than my mom. I remember seeing a video that was taken by her students, and she literally got punched. She literally got punched by private security. There was nothing in the media about that. Basically, what the media was saying, students are inciting violence, and they're going crazy, basically. And I feel like that's why students were just like, you know what, let's document our own history, let's document our own protests. If you get arrested, bring your phone. If you're going to a protest, bring your phone. It must be fully charged so you can document this, because the media was just not doing anything. It's like you know, in these countries that are so famous for being dictatorships, like, you know, communist China or North Korea or the Nazi government. The thing that they attacked first was the media. You know, they put censorships on the media so that other people wouldn't know. I feel like during Fees Must Fall protests, if you were in another country, that's what you would literally think, because the media wasn't telling our side of the story. And I honestly don't understand. The media should be one of those institutions. I always look at the media and the history of media and think, Uti, the media is one of those institutions that actually need to expose corruption. They need to expose police brutality. They need to expose atrocious things that happen in a state. And the media in South Africa was not doing that. The media in South Africa was almost protecting police. And it was sad.
People came in their numbers in solidarity to the Fees Must Fall movement and also to support Rainbow Pride, enjoying performances by incredible local artists such as Sandisa Mazwai, Black Jacks, Ipupulaga Bigo, Black Dot Music, and many more. It was a really turned-up gathering and a much-needed one, considering what the students have been through with this whole Fees Must Fall movement. The more content I was gathering for the documentary, the clearer it became that this was in fact a revolution. They sang struggle songs, speaking of this world as an ugly place that they are in fact afraid of. other songs spoke of love and how it overcomes everything at the end.
Show solidarity to the Free Must Go movement, which of course I do. But I was so excited to find out that the beautiful people are also here. Some of you are unicorns, you know what I mean? You're magical. Those things that we don't see every day. Look at you, look at yourself. You're so special, you know what I mean? So come as you are and stay as you are.
Rainbow Pride is said to be created in order to create a space for all LGBTI events happening across South Africa to live under one umbrella. This event is based on celebrating uniqueness, curbing homophobia, transphobia, and xenophobia, also serving as a platform for South Africa to stand in solidarity with our fellow brothers and sisters in the 37 African countries where homosexuality is still illegal.
This is my religion. I believe. This is my religion. I stand for what I believe in. They crucified him, I'm a sinner. I don't sour, 'cause my heart beat up, yeah. Young king get a slate tryna flex. What changed, what's trending, what's next? Champagne bottles popping all night. Back then, better would've made a nigga nice. Back then, I'm a
Pretoria High, these girls were being, they were told, Guti, you need to relax your afro. My afro, that is the most natural form of my hair. How can you tell me that?
That's me.
That is me. That is the most natural form that I'm in, and you're gonna tell me to relax it. So I feel like the work has been done for white people. I mean, white people are so comfortable in their supremacy and their privilege, because we are so taught to white people are superior. We need to get rid of this thing. That's why I stopped relaxing my hair. I stopped relaxing my hair in high school because I was just like, no, why am I relaxing my hair?
Something is wrong here.
Something is wrong here. Where did this thing come from? You can see my hair needs to be straight, and my hair used to itch. Now my hair,
those chemicals burn.
Those chemicals burn. Like sometimes your hair comes out when you're washing it or whatever. So yeah, I just feel like the work has been done for white people, because we basically think that white people are better than us.
Em nome do Pai, Espírito Santo. Siva, 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 siva.
What followed next was interesting. A debate among the housemates about the iconic Nelson Mandela. Question is, was he really the great leader and savior the world portrays him to be?
But they just pray that I die on the way. I don't know what to do anymore. 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 They all be praying for
a lot of these sources that we don't see every day actually say Mandela used to have meetings long before Ikodesa. Why was he having meetings with white people? Why was Mandela getting special treatment? Sometimes he didn't even work because they had to what do you call this? The line that they were working on. And then you look at 20 years into him being in prison, all of a sudden the media has changed. The media now has this man on a pedestal. Because Nelson Mandela wasn't on a pedestal before.
He wasn't that popular.
He wasn't that popular. It was Robert Sobukwe or Chris Hani and all of them. Then when Nelson Mandela is suddenly rising up into this figure that is now being made into our hero, then all of a sudden Chris Hani gets shot. Wow. And he was the one guy who was saying, we are not going to negotiate with white people. We want this, we want that, and that's final. Then all of a sudden he dies, then all of a sudden Mandela rises up, and you have people dying, and you're just like,
so all by the white people.
You know, they say every liberation or every revolution or freedom struggle starts because people are enlightened by something that is happening in another country and whatever. The freedom for struggle, the struggle in South Africa during the apartheid era came as a direct result of what was going on in America. You know, the Civil War, they were fighting for rights and whatnot, and then they finally were considered as equals. So that in itself influenced the people of South Africa, and the apartheid government probably thought, no, we're going to fight them and we're going to win this thing, because really they thought of us as nothing. And what happened, we seemed to win the struggle. Apartheid is over. And what did they do to in that time where there was like 2 years until Mandela's release? They were selling us this thing in America, because America, you had your Malcolm X, your Martin Luther King, you had your Rosa Parks, and we idolized these people. We wanted to be like them, we wanted to win the struggle, blah blah blah. So what did they do? They sold us a character. They said, here's Mandela, he's your messiah, he's your savior, Rainbow Nation. But who does the Rainbow Nation and democracy in itself in South Africa, who does it benefit? White people.
What's going on now could have happened a long time ago had it not been for Mandela selling us out. Because right now, the fact that he did what he did, and most of us, I would ask anyone,
would say that they don't know what Mandela and the white people were talking behind closed doors. Because we all know that the media was never always there, or we never got those stories, you understand? So we don't know that he was actually discussing stuff, bowing down to the white people. And after that, it came to pass that so many white people we were building relationships with, not knowing that they actually knew that Mandela's still worshipping us, so we still superior to you guys. That's how I feel that they kept on pressing on that issue, and we were so defenseless. But now, because of this generation that has realized that Mandela was actually a sellout, now we're able to come out and actually try and fight the white people and be like, you know what, we don't know what you and Mandela were speaking about, but we do not agree with what he did. Hence why this fees must fall and decolonization of education.
I think it's Steve Biko or Chris Hani, one of the two. The family of that freedom fighter still hasn't accepted the TRC report, because you know why? You can't kill my father, you can't kill my husband, and then later on, just because you gave me his bones or you showed me where he was buried, then I have to forgive and forget. There has to be some kind of punishment. Like, you're gonna tell me, Guti, the TRC was justice. Justice for who? Nobody got justice. Those families, they keep saying, oh well, black families needed the closure, so that's why they got the bones, and look at what the TRC did. I feel like a lot of black families who are still angry today would have felt much better if those people that were pardoned by the TRC actually went to jail or they were executed. That is why white people still walk all over us today, because TRC was like 1994, 1995, 1996, that was our chance to be like, listen, to avoid a civil war, you have to give us land. You have to give us our minerals back, our resources. You have to do this, you have to do that. That is why black people are still suffering today, because Nelson Mandela went behind closed doors and made a sweet deal for himself and white people. In Nazi Germany, after the Nazi government was defeated, you had the Nuremberg trials. And all of those officials who were working for the Nazi governments, every single one of them was tried and then executed. So why didn't that happen in South Africa? South Africa is one of the few, like maybe there's only 2 countries in this whole world who were liberated and then said, no, we're not going to punish white people who did this and this to us. So that is why I'm saying Mandela, like the deal was too sweet for white people. Nelson Mandela, if you're going to say, okay, let's enter negotiations, then when you enter negotiations, most of the time you won't come out with everything that was on your list. Nelson Mandela should have had a plan. Okay, let's get what is this freedom right now, but in 5 years we have a 5-year economic plan. China had that, Korea had that, but South Africa didn't. Okay, in 5 years we want land to be to this and this person. There was no talks of that in Codesa.
Olha meu pai, olha meu pai, olha meu pai, olha meu pai. Nione ni tate, nione ni tate, nione ni tate, nione ni tate.
We've always been taught white history. Go out there and find out about your history, black history. Find out about people that they don't tell us about, people that are not included in the black in the history books, people that you won't find in magazines being embraced or whatever. Go and find those people and read up on them and read up on what they were saying, because all of them were saying black is beautiful, black is
the most beautiful thing.
Yes, because I mean, even though we've been through so much, I mean, you and I were born after apartheid, but we've been through a lot.
We still face a struggle.
We still face a struggle.
A huge
I feel like
struggle.
That struggle is so beautiful because we literally wake up every single day and we're like, I'm gonna get through this day. And I feel like
we still smile.
We still smile. We still talk to these people, our oppressors. We still talk to the kids.
We still laugh with them.
We still laugh with them. We still go to class with them. The same kids who are saying, well, you're stupid because you don't want to learn in Afrikaans. We still laugh with these people. We still accommodate them every single day. And I feel like that's so beautiful because even though our parents have been taught, you know what, you are inferior, they haven't stopped teaching us, you need to love the next person, you need to take care of the next person. You know, I feel like that's so beautiful. That is the most, I don't know, I don't even know how to describe it. Black people, I would...
And the thing is, we don't realize this.
We don't realize it. We don't.
To show them light, technology in our community. It's time to show them darkness, cause there's poverty, chemical drug abuse. What do they fear most? What do they fear most? We bring in the future from now beyond. From now beyond, we bring in the future. From now beyond, from now beyond, we bring in the future. From now beyond, from now beyond, we bring in the future. From now beyond, from now beyond. Tell me if you see it. 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 I know my worth. I know. Ramadan flows gon' leave you eyes. Talk about all I know. Change one life and a million more. We bring in the future. It's with the youth in our society. Don't take them as losers. They're far beyond. Generations to come, great minds on earth, grinding through this trampled lifestyle. It's a pound of joy, learning that we grow. Let's build what's never been built before. Africans come unite as one. Don't matter just as long you African. The motherland holds diamonds, fruits and gold. I know our history, struggles and fights for our victory. Greatest inventions of all times, all from an African. Us being on earth was no accident. Action help the ones in need. It won't hurt, fix poverty. Promote your fame regardless the pain. Technology in our community. It's time to show them darkness, cause there's poverty, chemical drug abuse. What do they fear most? What do they fear most?